Welcome back to my channel, guys. Okay, the real hidden truth. We are here to expose the lies of the enemy so you can no longer be deceived. Okay, but yeah, today we got something interesting. We are here to talk about demons, the Nephilim, the Nephilim, the Nephilim. The Nephilim. By the way, Nephilims are like fallen angels. It's a type of angel. There are different type of angels. I think Satan is like a seraphim, something like that. But yeah, the Nephilim. So this one is demons of the marine kingdom. Yes, demons are underwater. That's where they reside, most of them. But the Nephilim are like fallen angels, though. But yeah, we're gonna get straight into this. Hey, whether you believe it or not, those things are real. We just can't see them with our physical eyes, but they are real. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's see what this about.
The marine kingdom, a kingdom who harboured the earth, who spat out the lands when the waters were divided, whose rivers and streams brought forth life. Yet it is the depths, the abyss in which all originated from, that holds man's demise. Sinister dregs sunk when the earth was baptized. The pit became their grave. However, not all perished. Those who swam did not sink, they endured, and seek revenge.
Yep.
In this video, I am to discuss the marine kingdom with the goal to entice people to read the works within the Bible so that they may follow more closely the Word of God. If you enjoyed the contents of this video, please remember to like, and if you would want to see more, subscribe.
Hey, the more you read the Bible, the scarier it gets. But once you have Jesus on your side, there's nothing to be scared of because he's above all in the name of Jesus, literally. But yeah, let's continue.
For a castle to be created, the foundations must first be laid. To understand what makes this kingdom, we will begin with its creation. Genesis chapter 1 reads, "In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light,
Genesis,
that it
yep.
was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Verses 1 to 9 introduce us to the spiritual and physical worlds that God created. For the physical, it was before land that there were seas. Therefore the depths have been rooted in the earth before she took her form. Due to the absence of light, it did not make the dark evil. With every step of the Lord's creation, he saw that it was good. As, what is good without God? The prince who calls the dark home was yet to don the obsidian crown and fall from grace. It took 6 days for the Lord to make heaven and all the earth. On the 6th day, he created man in his image, in his likeness. It was during this time that the one who held the high note fell low, and whose mouth became the gutter. Satan spoke blasphemy against the Most High and sought after his throne. For his rebellion, he was cast like lightning from the heavens and struck the earth, inheriting it.
Yep.
In the garden, he took the form of a serpent and chose to exploit the weakest link in the chain. Like a coil he sprang, his twisted words reaching the ears of Eve. She hearkened to his half-truths and took a bite of the forbidden fruit. Adam followed suit, and the serpent's sin spread to man. Then the Lord said, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. The prophecy of the serpent and the seed would not be fulfilled until Christ was on the cross. Christ was the perfect human, sinless in all his ways. But it was not only his conception that made him pure, it was his bloodline. It is within the following chapters of Genesis that we understand the meaning of pure and how close the fallen had come to fulfilling their mission. Chapter 6 reads, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were Nephilim in the earth in those days, and also after that.
Yes, there were other beings. God had to wipe them out, then they had to go underwater. It's crazy. Most of these things is not taught in the church. I don't know. But yeah, I have to bring these to like to you for you guys, like interesting things. But yeah, literally there are other beings we don't know about. They're hidden from us. Kind of. They use some of us to seduce like the ones that can't see, that don't see them. So yeah. But the one that the people that they use to seduce us, and they literally using those people to try to take us out, kill us, and make us sin so we can go straight to hell with them. But yeah, there were other beings. There still are. There were other beings that was on earth before humans. But yeah.
That, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. The mentioned sons of God are fallen angels. Within the book of Enoch, the fallen are named, and so are their exploits. Enoch was the great-grandfather of Noah. Within the Bible, he did not perish on the earth. Instead, he was taken by God at the age of 365.
It's interesting because in those days, people used to live literally 300 to 900 years. I think that's amazing. Now people are dying literally in their 20s. Not cool at all. I mean, that's the enemy's plan, lead you straight to hell. Hey, the more you live in sin, like the closer your death date is. Whether you believe it or not, that's the truth. It's reality.
The history of the book of Enoch and the contents therein I have covered within my previous videos. In those, I discuss why the flood was necessary, as all flesh had become corrupted beyond repair. Quote, the importance of how Noah was perfect and what made him perfect is revealed when reviewing the Hebrew text.
If Noah wasn't walking with God, guys, we wouldn't be here. Literally, we would not be here today. I think it's amazing.
In verse 9, we read that Noah was righteous and blameless. This word translated as blameless is the Hebrew word tamim. It means without blemish, sound, healthful, without spot, unimpaired. It describes a lack of physical blemish. The use of the word suggests that Noah did not have the same genetic difference that the majority of the population of the earth had. Noah had no tarnished genetic changes brought about by the fallen angels' invasion or incursion into the human species. End quote. This corruption began with heavenly seed intermingling with earthly bodies. Genesis 6 verse 4 is where we read the word Nephilim. This word not only applies to the giant offsprings between the sons of God and daughters of men, but also it has come to mean the disembodied spirits that once held the breath of life and subsequently perished in the flood. The Nephilim defiled all flesh. Everything that walked, crawled, flew, and swam fell under their diabolical hands. Enoch chapter 7 reads, "And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh, and drink the blood."
This is deep, deep.
During the time of the flood, we see that the Lord mentions all that will die, except those of the sea. This
Wait, let me search up Nephilim. I thought it was like fallen angels. Hold on, guys. We need to make sure, okay? Or they are not fallen angels. They are mysterious beings. So it's literally how can I say this? Demons and mixing there it's like a dog doing it with a human and then creating the most hideous like creature ever. It's like that. But it's mostly like hmm, I'll say demons, but they're mysterious beings, but they're trying to mix or like it's in my head. How can I not get it out? They're trying to procreate with humans, like crazy, but true.
this means that not only did the sinful sink to the depths, but those that were defiled by the fallen remained there, untouched and unpunished. Since the time of the antediluvian period, man has done little other than scratch the surface of what lies beneath. It is reported that over 80% of our ocean remains unexplored, and that we know more of space than our own marine kingdom.
Yep.
The deepest depths of the ocean are known as the Hadal Zone, this taking its name after the Greek god of the underworld, Hades. Hades being the brother to Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea. It is no coincidence that the gods of the old world, who many believe to be the giants, called the Nephilim of the antediluvian period, are who share their names with the world's most unknown regions. They, like their namesake, are a relic whose origins turned into myths. Those myths transformed into new deities. The biblical flood made a mark on man's memory, and the water that brought forth death became represented in numerous ways. A few examples are the Canaanite god, Yam. They were the god of the sea, representing its violent nature.
False gods.
Like the Greeks, this god of the sea had a brother similar to Hades, in that this brother, named Mot, was the god of death. For the Egyptians, it was the god of the source of the Nile, Khnum. They are one of the earliest Egyptian deities. Due to the annual flooding of the Nile, which brought forth resources such as clay and silt, he was thought to be the creator of human children. He would form the child from clay within a potter's wheel and place them within a mother's womb.
Again, false gods.
For the last example, the Mesopotamian god, Circe. He is usually depicted transporting the sun god, Shamash. Shamash is a being associated with the underworld, again, echoing those of the sea being involved with overseers of death. Circe portrayals typically feature a snake tail, serpent, or dragon-like head, which is yet more marks of the devil and his involvement with the flood. Serpents of the sea are also seen within the Bible. The Leviathan, which is a creature referenced in many books, is said to be one of the Lord's mightiest creations, unkillable by man, but a plaything for God. The book in which the Leviathan is referred to the most is the book of Job. The Lord describes this primordial creature with intricate detail, bringing Job perspective of God's might and how the Lord oversees every motion, whether it be on land or
Only if people really took their time to get into the Bible. It's actually more interesting than you think. It is not boring at all. Like, it is far, very far from boring. The Bible is the most interesting book of all time. Of all time. Like, and all those, like, I don't want to call them, I'll say stories, but they are true stories though. But hey, get into that Bible. Hey, it tells you everything you need to know. Believe that.
the sea. It is also within Job that we read that dead things are formed from under the waters, and the inhabitants thereof. This alludes to the fact that there is life within the waters, but not
Yep.
all are living. The Leviathan is not only a described physical being, but for deliverance ministries is the name for a demon who inhabits its host. The Leviathan spirit is often the result of pride or
Spiritual
unforgiveness.
beings.
Similar in nature, a python spirit comes via rejection, coiling around the person's spine. Both these and other serpent-like demons are a part of a much larger group. Marine spirits, sometimes referred to as water spirits, is a generic term. As explained, the biblical flood wiped out all creation, with a few exceptions. Water encompasses 71% of the Earth's surface, as well as 60% of the human body, meaning that these spirits can easily inhabit a person, as
Yep.
we are not only surrounded, but made up of the water in which drowned the judged for their sin. The Book of Enoch counts 200 angels who sided with Satan and sought to corrupt the earth, and although it describes their offspring, it does not say how many were produced. This is how those without Christ, which is unfortunately a large percentage of the earth, can be inhabited by more than one demon at one time. An example of this occurring is actually seen during the times of Jesus. The book of Mark chapter 5 reads, "And they came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit,
I
who
remember
had his
that.
dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains, and in the tombs, crying, and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice, and said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was there nigh unto the mountains a great herd.
That's interesting because one of Mr. Beast's friend said the same thing, and he literally just uh changed his sexuality. And he said the same thing, like, we are many. I mean, what he said again? Something. What he said?
God, that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit.
Oh yeah, he said my name is Legion, for we are many. That's exactly what Mr. Beast like friend said. And it's sad. Those people don't know they're possessing, they just don't know it.
And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was there nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. And all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave. And the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine. And the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000, and were choked in the sea. These verses reveal many things. Jesus had traveled into the country via a ship. It is here by the sea, that is, by the marine kingdom, in which he meets a man who is ravaged by a legion of demons. The demons instantly recognize Jesus as he is the Son of God, and they know their judgment will come. However, they do not know when. The devil knows the word, but he does not know the end. As it was not the day of judgment,
That I remember he said, as you come to torment us. But yeah, that's what I remember.
Jesus cast the spirits into a herd of swine, and they ran feverishly into the sea. The demons' objective was not to continue surviving within these lesser hosts. Rather, they were to use the pigs as a means of transportation, returning the demons to their kingdom. This is not the only time that the prophecy of the serpent and the seed is symbolized during the times of Jesus. The book of Matthew chapter 14 reads, "And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship, and to go before him unto the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray, and when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit, and they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. As I stated in the beginning, when the Lord made heaven and earth, the earth was without form. Light had yet to come into existence, and yet the dark was good. Jesus goes out into the sea at night. It is said that the light will always overcome the dark. Jesus is the light of the Lord. He is the Word made flesh. Him walking upon this deep abyss is parallel to the time of creation, when his spirit hovered over the waters. Now he walks upon its face, his heel crushing the serpentine waves and those that dwell within. He is a conqueror of the dark, of the deep, of the fallen things that sank to the bottom, that await judgment. In conclusion, those of the marine kingdom came into existence outside of God's will. They cannot go to heaven, neither can they go to hell. Their plane is the earth, and the waters are their home. They are the river from which flows sinister intentions. They twist and turn, awaiting for the opportunity to be invited. Through sin, the door is opened, and like a tide they flood your temple. Only through him will legions flee, darkness hide, and devils cower. He is the way, the truth, and the life. Only through him can you be saved.
Yeah, is that it?
As mentioned in the beginning of this video, the aim is to get you interested in the works of the Bible. If your interest has been piqued, then please read the original text yourself. If you have additional commentary on the marine kingdom and the events discussed within this video, then please leave a comment. I look forward to reading them. If you wish to support the work I do here on this channel, please see my Patreon. You will be
Oh yes, guys, get your Bible, okay? Quick, believe me, it is wonderful. Get into it. If you don't understand it, there's many ways you can do that. Get the King James version though. Okay, it's easier to understand. It's more reliable. And the words you don't understand, just search it up. Like it's just simple words, and it's gonna make sense once you search certain words up. But yeah, hey, trust me, the devil trying to get you not to get in that book. You need to get in that book to see the world for what it really is. Okay, the Holy Bible, by the way. There's many Bibles out there. I gotta make sure I let that known. But yeah, hey, Subscribe to the channel. Hey, share these videos with your friends, family, strangers if you want to. But yeah, I'm here to open a lot of eyes and turn you towards God, okay? Not away from Him, towards Him, away from the devil, the enemy. But yeah, may God bless everyone. Catch you on the next video. I have